Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Krieger. This video is the last requirement for my dissertation here at Arizona State University in the Barrett Honor College. Today I will present cryptocurrency's role in traditional monetary markets and systems such as the foreign exchange markets. Before I recap my thesis, I want to mention that this thesis couldn't have begun at a better time as we observed volatile markets, crypto implosions, and bank failures. Given that cryptocurrencies are a fairly new and evolving technology, we can expect some projects to fail while others succeed with their missions. The bank failures have been a result of failed risk management and liquidity crises, revealing the pitfalls of fractional reserve banking and financial regulatory policies such as Dodd-Frank. These series of events drive the essential question of how the current financial markets, systems, and practices will evolve over time. As cryptocurrencies search for mainstream adoption, one can only ask, what is cryptocurrency's role in traditional monetary markets and systems? Due to the current economic environment surrounding both crypto and financial industries, evidence for these questions update on a daily basis, demonstrating the complexity of this topic in research. This thesis intends to provide current clarity surrounding these questions and to identify the most probable evolutionary path for crypto's relation to the foreign exchange markets, and which native blockchain cryptos are most likely to exhibit some sort of role in this environment based on the identified fundamentals. If a crypto is capable of exhibiting a role in the Forex markets, there are two possible cases for adoption: coexistence or challenging current traditional Forex institutions. Additionally, this thesis includes frequently debated aspects of cryptocurrency to identify the advantages and limitations of both cryptocurrency and traditional monetary systems. Additionally, it is important to note that this thesis was completed before the congressional hearings questioning the SEC's and Gary Gensler's actions on regulating the cryptocurrency industry. This recent development may suggest that the United States may initiate either creating a new regulatory agency to oversee the cryptocurrency industry or designating the CFTC as the primary regulator. Lastly, new institutions such as BlackRock are possibly considering the future cryptocurrency adoption for its clients, demonstrating that this subject truly is a daily evolving topic. The inherent idea of crypto is to establish a digital form of international currency that is accessible worldwide, protected, verifiable, and faster than traditional practices, reducing cross-border payments. Therefore, the inherent idea attempts to contest the traditional foreign exchange markets. So, will cryptos challenge traditional financial institutions and traditional fiat currencies? Is there a possibility for coexistence? Are cryptocurrencies more related to traditional fiat currencies or the gold standard? Most importantly, what impacts would cryptos have on the Forex markets, and where do we go from here? The Forex market is the international over-the-counter monetary market structure where international payments are made, movements of capital are accommodated, and exchange rates among currencies are determined. It allows for the conversion, hedge, arbitrage, and speculation of international currencies. Institutions include banks, central banks, Forex dealers, commercial companies, investment management firms, hedge funds, retail Forex dealers, and investors. Countries can choose either fixed or free-floating exchange rates, depending on the country and the market forces. The US fiat currency today is free-floating, but under the gold standard, it was a fixed exchange rate. Today, the central bank is capable of serving as the lender of last resort. There is no centralized organization regulating the entire Forex market. It is simply left up to the individual governments to regulate their own respective markets. Market forces depend on the trilemma, where countries have to choose between free capital mobility, fixed exchange rates, and monetary policy autonomy. Investors can trade at any time of day. However, there are hidden exchange rate fees. Futures and forward contracts may offer some efficiency for the market. However, the market inherits significant risks, especially for those investors that trade using leverage. The significant downfalls are that there's a lack of transparency and the prominent foreign exchange rate risk. The International Gold Standard was a commodity-based monetary exchange system that was backed paper money to gold at a fixed rate and lasted from 1870 to 1913. The main issue was that the growth of paper money needed to match the growth of gold, which is hard to predict. This resulted in hyperinflation of gold when gold deposits were found and mined. However, in the end, paper's money growth rate exceeded the growth rate of gold. The fixed money supply also resulted in lags in the world's real GDP. There was a fixed exchange rate between gold and paper money that resulted in arbitrage profits, eventually leading to banks and the federal government losing significant capital. The arbitrage opportunity was a significant reason for the fall of the gold standard. I referred to Selgin, who provided a great explanation of the arbitrage opportunity. Moreover, Urban Harvey provided conclusive evidence how gold failed to serve as an inflationary hedge for paper money. Other economic research suggests that gold has historically been valued at a premium rather than a discount, providing additional concerns about the asset's volatility. Under the gold standard, the central banks could not serve as a lender of last resort, and countries experiencing competitiveness problems had to suffer wage and price deflation. Traditional fiat currency is government-issued currency that is not backed by tangible assets. Their value comes from the faith that others will accept it as legal tender since the government supports and regulates the currency. Fiat currency serves as a store of value, unit of account, and medium of exchange. It's the form of currency that we use today, and it allows for flexibility in the monetary policies. Central banks do serve as the lender of last resort. Storage costs of fiat currencies are lower compared to gold and doesn't require large storage like gold. Fiat currencies do promote international trade and world GDP. And there is no limit on the total world money supply. There is purchasing power risk due to inflation, which demonstrates the flexibility in the definition of a store of value. So a blockchain is a digital ledger of all transactions that is verifiable across a peer-to-peer network. Hashing allows for unique identifiers and a security system in a blockchain. Blockchains are, in most cases, decentralized. Nodes have to verify transactions to reach consensus on a transaction. A consensus mechanism refers to any number of methodologies used to achieve agreement, trust, and security across a decentralized computer network. There are many consensus mechanisms out there. However, there are primarily two main ones. So proof of work is relatively energy intensive, is more expensive, and is more prone to security risks, such as the 51% attack. Proof of stake, on the other hand, is more energy efficient, less expensive, and provides network security. A cryptocurrency is a digital currency designed on blockchain technology and acts as a medium of exchange to execute online monetary transactions and payments. The main goal for most cryptocurrencies is decentralization. Cryptos attempt to challenge the fundamental aspects of traditional payment systems due to factors that promote efficiency, speed, and lower costs, since there is no financial intermediaries that are required. Cryptocurrencies could possibly serve as an alternative to banking, with the only constraint being internet connection, a digital device, and a digital wallet. There are currently 3 generations of cryptocurrency that we have experienced. The first generation was Bitcoin, where the goal was to be scarce and tradable. However, it initially failed to establish a system of contracts for payment transactions. The second generation was Ethereum, where the goal was smart contracts. However, it currently fails to scale to millions or even billions of users. Now we're experiencing the third generation of cryptocurrency, where the goal is to improve scalability and to explore other real-fi fundamentals such as governance and sustainability. One example of a third generation crypto is Cardano. Here are some of the analyzed cryptocurrency fundamentals that I used in my paper. So energy consumption is a possible factor that may influence adoption and government regulation. It is currently an incredibly controversial area right now, as the current administration, the EPA, Department of Energy, and other federal agencies intend to heavily regulate the industry depending on what they consider is energy intensive without providing any clear metrics or guidance to follow. The primary target is Bitcoin due to its energy intensity surrounding proof of work mechanisms. However, due to the current lack of guidance, which is possibly a result of the lack of crypto education, suggests that the entire industry may be fairly unregulated or even banned. Crypto critics often extrapolate Bitcoin's energy consumption to represent the entire market. There is clear evidence proving this notion is false. Moreover, the complexity surrounding energy consumption fails to address how large crypto miners operate with energy consumption. Crypto critics fail to consider that the energy was already produced and would be otherwise wasted if not used, indicating that the efficiency primarily resides with the energy sector rather than the crypto sector. The most likely scenario, as of right now, is that proof of work mechanisms will be subject to intense regulations once crypto education increases among politicians and the general public. Clear evidence depicts that the government agencies have rushed their research, and their support for excessive force demonstrates that their premature decisions could have catastrophic effects on crypto adoption. TPS is also known as transaction per second and is a unit of measure to indicate blockchain speed and scalability. Traditional FOREX institutions don't provide any clear estimates nor research into this metric. However, FOREX researchers primarily suggest that legacy institutions could have as high of 65,000 TPS, even though the most likely figure is approximately 24,000 TPS. The goal of TPS in crypto is to contest cross-border payments. Daniel Weber provided clear evidence of legacy financial institutions, such as MoneyGram, adopting USDC stablecoin to gain a competitive edge in settlement time. The most likely reason that Weber argues for settlement time being the main focus is because USDC is built on the Ethereum network, where Ethereum was proved in a later section of my analysis to struggle with high gas fees and slow TPS. However, the clear depiction of institutional adoption serves as a positive reinforcement for crypto playing a coexistence role in the Forex markets. Gas fees are a transaction fee for computational power of a blockchain. For instance, on the Ethereum network, gas fees are used for token and coin minting, transferring tokens, executing smart contracts, powering dApps, and storing data. Gas fees are distributed to stakers as rewards. Gas fees may serve as another factor affecting crypto adoption along with TPS. So coins and tokens are typically used interchangeably within the cryptocurrency industry. However, there's a clear and distinct difference between the two, which is why I end up defining them in my report. Coins are a financial asset with the sole function of making payments, and they are typically native to their blockchain. Tokens, on the other hand, are much more difficult to define in nature since they have the same function of coins and other functions, or possibly just different functions altogether than coins. Given the complex nature of tokens, and also since tokens aren't necessarily native to the underlying blockchain, I wanted to keep my analysis section as clear as possible. Although future research could be conducted that analyzes advanced tokenomics, which may prove to be an emerging field of economics if a cryptocurrency adoption accelerates to similar levels of computers. Shoot, forgot about that one. Additionally, as I mentioned, most stablecoins are not native to the underlying blockchain, so I chose to be consistent with my prior point for my analysis. However, as I mentioned, the MoneyGram case, I felt that it was necessary section to include. Stablecoins are a crypto that pegs its values to another financial asset. Typically, they are pegged to fiat currencies. Stablecoins are fundamentally similar to fiat for the most part. However, economic theory suggests that a mass adoption of this area would indicate a rapid inflation in the money supply due to a one-to-one reserve backing between stablecoins and fiat currencies. I also ended up analyzing the different sectors of finance and the different areas of finance that crypto has already influenced. So TradFi, also known as traditional financing, mainly refers to mainstream financial systems and institutions. Deeper analysis includes theories like the efficient market hypothesis, which assumes that market prices reflect all available information and assumes that the market is made up of rational investors. There are different levels of strengths, though, within the efficient market hypothesis. The antithetical theory of TradFi is behavioral finance, and assuming that investors are not rational and the market is a market of emotions. Behavioral finance attempts to identify psychological biases of individuals in the market to exploit for return. Both of these two theories proposed interesting ideas that may affect how crypto adoption accelerates for a specific cryptocurrency, since some cryptocurrencies, like Dogecoin, are solely based on human behavior. CeFi, also known as centralized financing, is the process where users can acquire loans, earn interest, and buy and sell cryptocurrencies using a centralized institution. Usually this occurs on a centralized exchange, which is also known as a CEX. The downfall of is that the reliance now is on the trust of humans rather than an open source code, and the user risks lies with the exchange. Prominent examples of CEXs currently today are Binance and Coinbase. And some prominent examples of some failed CEXs include FTX and Voyager, even though Voyager may decide to restructure after its bankruptcy. CeFi lacks transparency, trust, and is more prone to hacking and security risks. CeFi is also charges higher transaction fees than DEXs. However, CeFi's advantage is facilitating transactions between fiat currency and cryptocurrency. DeFi, also known as decentralized financing, uses blockchain technology to offer financial services without the involvement of intermediaries like central regulators like banks, governments, and exchanges. It requires smart contracts to enable peer-to-peer transactions. DeFi allows users for emerging financial products and services such as dApps, DEXs, NFTs, and staking. The benefits of DeFi include new ways to earn interest, live transactions, open source software, self-custody, and trustless and inclusiveness. The associated risks with DeFi include complexity, hacks, scams, theft, volatility, and gas fees. RealFi is a superset of DeFi that essentially strives to develop a friendly user interface to accelerate the financial application and adoption of cryptocurrencies. Essentially, RealFi is the area that allows for full integration of cryptocurrencies into the legacy world. So the last area that I ended up analyzing was legislation. Many countries have already implemented some sort of crypto regulations. However, the US significantly trails in this area compared to most developed countries. I proved that Congress and the current administration rushed to enact policies that ultimately failed to deliver clarity in this area. Many problems emerged from the proposed bills, such as simple definitions, such as whether or not to consider crypto as property, if cryptocurrencies should be treated as fiat currency, and simply how to even tax it. Eventually, Congress wanted to prioritize on other objectives, so they currently have left the regulation to federal agencies like the SEC and CFTC. Although, over the last couple of weeks, there's been recent news with the CFTC wanting to take a more prominent role in regulation, which poses a definitional challenge because the CFTC defines crypto as property and the SEC defines it to be a security. Ultimately, the tax ramifications on the definition alone makes a substantial difference and only demonstrates the frustration surrounding this topic. However, legislation is clearly an important factor that affects mainstream adoption. Moreover, I found that Bloomberg law attests that crypto is subject to current state laws and the Anti-Money Laundering Act. As for now, this factor proves challenging to analyze on the adoption in the United States. However, global implications on a US ban of crypto could play in favor for international countries, since crypto's potential, if achieved, could serve as a competitive advantage to current traditional financial institutions and practices such as ACH withdrawal. So I began this section by demonstrating the flexibility for the functions of money, which evidently proved that cryptos theoretically can function as fiat currency based off of Shillings and Ulig's research. Additionally, I analyzed Taskanowski's research, who was a Bitcoin critic, and surprisingly for a good reason, that a Bitcoin standard was infeasible due to high latency, low TPS, high operating expenses, low scalability, and slow validation times. Furthermore, I demonstrated that it would theoretically be impossible to replicate a perfect gold standard with a Bitcoin standard by simple parallelism of Taskanowski's assumptions and the traditional gold standard. Instead, Taskanowski technically analyzed a modern solution replicated gold standard, which ultimately failed due to the failed possible use cases of Bitcoin. Moreover, Taskanowski research was helpful to demonstrate a common public misperception within the cryptocurrency industry, such that crypto supporters conflate inflation and inflation hedge to a gold standard. I also took the time while I was on the subject of misperceptions to address the lack of education surrounding cryptocurrencies that fuel many false claims from anti-crypto advocates. Interestingly, crypto is one of the least used forms of currency used for money laundering, with cash and fiat currency substantially outweighing cryptocurrency. Also, there is a possibility for cryptocurrency to coexist with fiat currency. So, one area that crypto could compete with is banks on ACH withdrawal. Blockchain technology could theoretically compete on payments, clearance, and settlement systems, fundraising, securities, loans and credit, trade finance, and customer KYC and fraud prevention. Another area of finance that crypto could evolve is venture capital, with the concept of initial coin offerings, providing additional method to raise capital. Sadly, that didn't pop up on here, unfortunately. Additionally, Credit cards could evolve due to the TPS concept with Visa. Improved settlement times on the system could improve current traditional institutions like Visa. The last area I identified that could significantly evolve is the peer-to-peer loans industry. Some examples that I included was MoneyGram, Square, and Wise. Cryptocurrencies could compete because not only settlement times, but also because these institutions currently have high hidden exchange rate fees compared to cryptocurrency. Additionally, crypto could challenge this entire market because users could now send payments directly and globally without the need for third-party intermediaries via cryptocurrency. Due to Taskanowski's aforementioned research and Souther's valid argument that the Lightning Network may fail KYC, anti-money laundering status, and as it currently suffers structural problems, Bitcoin most likely won't be a contender in the Forex markets and may even suffer heavy future regulations. Also, the TPS on the network still only remains at 7, substantially small compared to this 24,000 comparison. As a reminder, Bitcoin is energy inefficient due to its proof of work mechanism. Even though Ethereum is a highly developed network that specializes in smart contracts, high potential scalability, greater than legacy institutions, and is energy efficient, the gas fees, poor monetary policy, the weak developer community, and sustainability problems pose a significant threat to current and continued adoption. Also, Ethereum may be considered a security, and its current TPS is not up to where it should be. Due to its scalability, low costs, energy efficient status, RealFi fundamentals, sound monetary policy, Ripple could coexist in the Forex markets. However, its security status is still at question and is still debated in courts. For Cardano, if Cardano was able to achieve its scalability targets, improve its level of adoption, and prove successful in regulation, then Cardano would likely be a contender in the Forex markets, as its foundations surpass other cryptocurrency competitors. Cardano was energy efficient and has strong, sound monetary policy and RealFi fundamentals. Dogecoin was a Bitcoin alternative with no sound monetary policy and was very prone to security risks. Behavioral finance primarily plays a strong role with this cryptocurrency rather than RealFi fundamentals. So some improvements include gas fees and TPS compared to Bitcoin. However, most likely this cryptocurrency will fail to compete in the Forex markets or even to play some sort of role in the Forex markets. Since Solana sustains a competitive advantage in energy consumption per transaction, speed, and cost, its ambitions for RealFi status will likely demonstrate its potential to coexist or even challenge legacy financial institutions, meaning that Solana could likely exhibit some role within the Forex markets and evolve current monetary markets and systems. Due to Polkadot's expected scalability, network improvements, RealFi status, energy efficiency, and SEC compliant software status, Polkadot could likely or eventually exhibit a role coexisting in evolved Forex markets. However, due to the limited availability of its parachain slots, Polkadot would likely find it difficult to challenge the entire Forex market. So this paper offers compelling evidence for the possible ramifications of cryptocurrency technology, eventually evolving, challenging, and coexisting within the Forex markets. The fundamentals of cryptocurrency support the theory that Most cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, are more closely related to fiat currencies rather than the traditional gold standard. Currently, from this analyzed list of cryptocurrencies and their respective fundamentals, the most probable cryptocurrencies exhibiting some sort of future role within the Forex markets include Ripple, Cardano, Solana, and Polkadot. However, the current total levels of adoption are not suitable for current roles in the Forex markets. Furthermore, the level of crypto adoption within retail would likely need to hit some threshold before legacy institutions begin their major adoption phase. As cryptocurrencies continue to scale and improve, legacy institutions will probably need to determine a path to accelerate the additional acceptance, adoption, and integration of this technology in order to sustain their respective competitive advantages. As mentioned, some possible areas that cryptocurrencies may evolve include the banking sector, credit cards, and the peer-to-peer markets, just to name a few. This academic research proves essential for future analysis regarding advanced tokenomics, which is the economic analysis of cryptocurrencies and tokens, its relation to the evolution of traditional monetary policies, markets, governance, real-fi, traditional finance, and behavioral finance. Lastly, it is important to note that I only analyze cryptocurrencies with respect to traditional fiat currency, the international gold standard, and the Forex markets. It is possible that cryptocurrencies may impact other areas in academia and business. I would love to receive some comments from experts within this area of finance and economics. Also, I would love to hear from viewers to see what you believe cryptocurrencies could impact. Please leave a like if you found this video helpful or any of this information to be helpful. And thank you for listening so much. Cheers.